Alright bro, so we just got back from playing the Forgotten Kingdom DLC for Remnant 2. What do I think about the DLC? I think it's as dog crap as the previous DLC. I'm not impressed. I didn't have fun. I didn't honestly like it. It had one cool puzzle, and that was this little level. I think it's called the Forgotten Prison or whatever. It's basically this level that has water, and you're clearing through these puzzle rooms. It's like a platforming kind of puzzle room, and you're trying to get to a lever by going through these puzzle rooms, and then you pull the lever, the water shifts down inside of this vertical room, and you go through successive puzzles, and they're pretty cool. You know, it's nothing that super special or interesting, but it flavors up the game, it flavors up the gameplay loop, and I liked it. But outside of that, man, anytime I pick up, and I've come to this realization playing this DLC, I don't like Remnant games. Maybe I kind of liked them at one point, like half liked them, but really they're just a waste of time. They make you spend and waste all this time doing basically nothing and things that don't matter. I do like the boss designs. The boss designs are actually really good in this game, but going through the levels, it's just boring. It's not really that interesting. This DLC doesn't add a lot of enemies, by the way. It adds, I think, two enemy types that you're gonna run into a lot. Dudes with pickaxes and vases that shoot at you, okay? Then you've got, I think it's like 3 or 4 mini bosses that you'll run into here and there. It's really not that interesting. I don't really like it that much. This is a bloated DLC. You are going to be fighting the same enemies over and over again. They have been overtuned like crazy. They hit you and they deal crazy damage. If you don't have a build with a ton of damage reduction, you're basically gonna get one shot. That's just the truth. I don't know if I really like that or not. I don't think I do. Anyways, I wasn't enjoying myself. The story, like always in Remnant games, and especially within the base game and the previous DLC. By the way, the previous DLC, within 2 hours, I crashed about 7 or 8 times. What the frick? Within this DLC, I didn't crash once. Great. Okay, so at least we don't have that problem again. But we just have a lot of rewashed dungeons that you run through that have little add-ons for the DLC in this game. So Forgotten Kingdom DLC tidbits are added at the end of dungeons that you've already gone through in the base game. Okay, when we look back at Remnant from the Ashes and those DLCs, they added new content, new areas. They added way more new enemies for you to interact with. I think I like Remnant from the Ashes a little bit more than this game. I don't know. There's something about Remnant 2. I don't like it. There's not as much replayability, and that's not really saying much. I'm trying to say something positive here, man. I don't like this game. So anyway, I do regret buying the freaking DLCs. I regret it. I regret buying the season pass. Anyways, the story is as nonsensical and meaningless as the base game and the previous DLC. It doesn't mean anything. And in fact, I was just making up my own story because you have this guy named Walt. You call him Walt. He's not really named Walt. His name's something weird. Anyways, he's a goat dude, okay? And he's looking at these murals of his lost tribe, of the Panel-Sig-Tech, whatever the heck you call them. He's looking at the murals and it's showing the story of how the king Thalos got taken over, or no, yeah, the priests of his tribe, they were trying to work against him, I believe. And Lydusa, by the way, what's up, Lydusa girl? Call me. Not really, I don't actually mean that. Don't call me, please. You're not hot. But anyways, the tribe and its priests turn Thalos and Lydusa against each other through deception, I think is what the story is. I don't really know. I just made up my own story. I'm about to tell you what the story is in a second. But anyways, they convince Thalos to kill Lydusa because they tell Thalos that she's working against him or whatever. So they connive this idea that she's betrayed them, and then she comes back from the dead, turns into stone with a bunch of other goat dudes who are turned into stone, and they go out of their way to, I guess, exact vengeance. Because I think she's possessed by this malevolent spirit that turns her away from who she actually is. So then she has this spirit of vengeance that possesses her, and then she goes out of her way to exact her vengeance against Thalos and the priests. By the way, of course, we have to have a understandable female villain You know, we have a lot of that nowadays. Women can never just be evil. They always have to be understandable. It's always the men who are just blatantly evil for no good reason at all. Okay, dude. You know, you start to notice this trend and this pattern. You start asking yourself, what the frick are we doing here? You know, you guys don't have ideas. You have a freaking agenda that you're selling time and time and time and time and time and time and time again. Freaking fed up with it, bro. The freaking feminist propaganda. I'm just tired of this. So what was my made-up story when I was reading these murals right next to the goat dude that we named Walt in game? Okay, that's what the game calls him. Well, basically what the story is, Thalos was a gay priest, and he was seeking out, I believe within the first mural, what happened, he went into the forest, and I guess he was seeking out answers to being a gay priest. And in seeking out those answers, a lot of his goat dudes started turning into stone. And that was because I guess they were getting touched by the gay, okay? Then he runs into this chick named Lidusa. Effectively, she prays away his gay. And he utilizes this orb of light. As I read from the murals, he utilizes this orb of light to purify his own inner gay as she prays away the gay. And then what this does, they start trying to purify with the orb of light. Lidusa tries to pray away the rest of the goatmen and their gay. And some of them don't make it and they forever turn into stone. And then Lidusa runs off into the forest and she stows away the orb of light that purifies the gay. Well, then something happens within the next mural, which is that in some way, somehow, the priests inform Thalos that his wife, who prayed away his gay, stole the orb of light, stowed it away into the forest, to which I believe Thalos found the orb of light. And she also decided to now, I guess because she's specifically upset that he's no longer gay, she turns into a lesbian. And now she has it out against him and the other men of the tribe. And because she takes away the purifying orb of light, Thalos is upset with Lidusa because obviously she's a little biatch. She stole away the orb that purifies the gay out of his goatmen people. And also because now she's refusing to pray away the rest of the goatmen and their gay to reconvert them back to straightness, the two end up clashing together and going at war. Well, eventually, Lidusa is brought to an end because she refuses Thalos and his orb of light. He tries to pray away her lesbianism. It doesn't work. So they decide to cast her away, execute her, and then station for her 2 guards over her tomb, her lesbian tomb, before one day she reawakens and she has this wrath, of course, because she's angry about the fact that she was executed and that she lost in the war of turning her reconverted husband from the gay, praying it away. Of course, she wants to be lesbian now. And because he won the war, she's upset. Feminism, I have to come back from the dead because, right, women within feminism, they defy death. So she comes back and she utilizes those remaining gays who were encased within stone. She weaponizes them against Thalos, the king, the non-gay king, and she takes, I believe, his orb of light, and she ultimately ends up killing him. And in the end, she ends up taking over the kingdom, and she possesses the random Panu whatever tribe. She possesses them with the gay, and now they're forever encased within stone. Right? And that's why you're going through these levels. That's what these murals are telling you, is that Lidusa, that little biatch, that traitorous biatch, she hated the fact that she prayed away Thalos' gay. She turned lesbian in defiance of Thalos. And then in winning against Thalos, because he was also betrayed by her when she came back from the dead, and as they had their war, now the lost tribe in the Forgotten Kingdom is the lost tribe and kingdom of a raging, wrathful lesbian goddess. That is my headcanon. I said it differently during the playthrough, by the way, because obviously we're developing it as we go, but for me, that's my headcanon. Yeah, if you read the murals yourself and you didn't let the writers tell you what they were, that's the most logical conclusion. They were all a bunch of raging homosexuals on an island. And anyways, that's as relevant as the story is for me. I didn't like it. The gameplay was incredibly redundant going through. And I just, man, I was playing this DLC and I just got to the point where I was like, why am I here? And then that brings me back down to this review. Would I say buy this? No, don't buy this. This freaking sucks. I do not like Remnant 2 specifically, but you know what? I don't think I even really like both games. I think if you play it with friends, you're probably going to have the most fun that you could ever imagine having with this game, but that doesn't really mean much. Anyways, Thalos did nothing wrong. Lydusa is a raging little biatch who betrayed her husband, who she converted. She was the woman that could change him from the gay. And here we are. She defied him because she turned him away from the ways of the gay. So then she became gay, and now, within this storyline, everyone is doomed to the gay. Yeah, listen, man, I don't really have any other crazy thoughts. This DLC didn't really do it for me. I wasn't really too impressed or happy with it. And with that being said, I'm hoping that the next DLC is not a giant waste of my money.